Hello, everybody, and welcome to another scene in Sept of the Howling Winds, a Werewolf the Apocalypse 20 edition set in San Diego, California. Today, Darcy was just kind of training at the training grounds, practicing his archery like usual. He called his beta over to just have a discussion, but in the meantime, he's just firing some arrows.
Zhong Li is actually walking up slowly, loosening his tie as he does so. Still with the bow, I see.
That's what I know.
It is what you know.
I don't know, I guess it just. He chooses love. I practiced the bow before I changed. I guess it's a sort of a link to my humanity.
Your humanity.
I don't know, maybe it's dumb, but I guess I have. It's a sort of comfort.
So what happens when they get close?
That's why I've been learning hand-to-hand combat too. It's my dad's been helping with that.
Show me.
He he goes ahead and sets his bow to the side. By the way, out of character, Nene, you can join in whenever. We just started. Uh, he sets his bow to the side, and he loosens his shirt a little bit and gets into a fighting stance. And he says, "Do you want to spar, or do you want me to see me practice on the dummy over there?"
See if you can hit me.
Okay, I'm gonna roll to hit, but it's not for damage, by the way. Okay, it's X. Wait a second, that's not right.
What scene are you rolling in?
I rolled in the completely wrong one.
Makes sense.
I mean, I would have had 4 successes, but that sucks. Okay, well, I'll roll in the correct one. I'll do scenes 1. Okay, I think precise applies. So,
I would not think precise would apply.
okay
You
then.
just said you were trying. You just made the strike.
Yeah, that's true. He's going to have 5 successes then.
Excellent. All right, rolling for Zhong Li. And let me double check my dice pool.
I got a really good roll on that one.
Zhongli waits till the very last second as your fist is coming at him. And just passively waiting till it approaches. And rolling to avoid that blow. Should be able to get it hidden. One, two, three, four, five successes. Never
Five
mind.
successes.
So
Oh,
coming at him, just waiting to the barest last second, he leans back as your fist skirts right in front of his face.
it wasn't elegant, but you avoided it. He's like, "You're really fast on your feet." Well, that's expected. He smiles.
Zhongli is looking him over. You haven't hit me yet.
Okay, I'll go again. This time he's aiming for his legs to trip.
All right. Called shot, +1 difficulty, diff 7.
Okay. It is precise, so that is 6 successes.
All right. Zhongli is going to, at that point in time, let's see, how is he going to do this? Zhongli will will actually step into his sweeping motion with the leg, and then he's going to stop it with a what looks like a karate chop motion while pulling out his dagger at the same time. So hitting you with his knife,
Ooh, okay.
and that is going to be a grand total of that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right. So Zhongli does a knife hand downwards, pulling his knife at the same time, and hitting the back of your thigh with the back of his with the pommel of his knife, knocking it back before
Okay.
bringing up his knife uh, and tossing it into his other hand as a distraction maneuver before doing a jump spin kick.
Yes. I
So
love that.
that's diff 7. I'm not doing a called shot, but you get your defense, whatever that's going to be, against 2 successes.
Okay. So he gets to dodge, so that is 7 dice. Okay, that is 4 successes to dodge. So whenever he tries to trip and he hits him, and then he tries to do the kick, he does like a tuck and roll. And manages to avoid the kick, and then he spins out and stands back up. Okay, and then he goes ahead and lunges forward again. This one is only 2 successes.
Zhong Li is going to actually, instead of dodging this time, he is going to step to the left, block with his right arm in a L formation. Yep, that's parried.
Yep.
And then with his free leg, he is going to throw a kick towards his throw a kick at at Darcy.
Okay. Since it's a
All right.
different action, I'll be able to.
So that is 2 successes again.
Okay, this time he's actually, since he's grappled and he's kicking, right?
He's not grappled. He just blocked with you. You threw a punch and he knocked it aside with a L block, and now is doing a just a roundhouse to his torso. Would be the most appropriate way to describe it.
Okay, he will like try to, since his leg is coming at him, he's going to swing his arm back to hit the leg that's coming at him. Okay, 4 successes.
All right,
Unless it,
manages to block the kick. With Zhong Li that close to him, he borrows a quote from a famous movie: "Stop trying to hit me and hit me."
then since he does that, Darcy will like do like a kick to his chest.
All right,
That
1, 2, 3,
is
4 successes.
4 successes because that was a kick to his chest. Yes.
Yep. You and your setting for diff 6.
Sorry, I wasn't thinking about it. I was just thinking like he was kicking, like it was just a general spot.
All
But
right. Zhong Li is actually going to step to the outside of that kick, um, turning sideways to do so. Going to roll my defense. Yeah,
dang
sidesteps
it!
sidesteps the kick, and is going to at that point in time just do a back fist to Darcy, using his momentum from spinning to the side there. So
Mhm.
do this.
Darcy's gotten a little bit better at hand-to-hand combat, though. Like,
Ooh, botch actually fails that one badly. Ends up doing a spin back fist and ends up tripping and falling to the ground.
since he's tripping and falling to the ground, Darcy takes the moment to try to hit him in the stomach, or like just he's just trying to kick him,
All right.
kick him when he's down. 3 successes.
All right. Zhong Li is going to, at that point, instead of rolling away, he is going um, to throw up his own leg to kick you in the shin to intercept your kick from hitting him.
I would say a +1 diff because you did trip and it was a botch.
You actually get a reduced difficulty to hit him. It's just that
Oh,
I thought you have a 5, so you had 4 successes on that roll.
okay, 4 successes.
That is the advantage to being fighting someone who's tripped.
Okay, Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Combat rules are my thing. But let's see here. Yeah, they don't penalize defense because I think they did that to avoid, um, you know, making it too hard. Because as the difficulty goes up, your likelihood of botching increases.
Oh,
Um,
that's true.
Once you hit diff 8, your your botching difficulty has pretty much doubled chances, I should say. But wow. So quick kick to the shin, and then instead of returning any more blows, he just does a kip up back to his feet, trying to take
Okay.
advantage of an enemy on the ground. A good move, but expected.
While he's talking, he does a roundhouse kick.
Nice. Good for a roundhouse. 3 successes.
Yep.
Zhongli will actually do a limbo lean back to let it go straight over him.
I don't think I'll ever get good successes like this again.
No, we're eating through all our successes ever. He leans back, the kick goes straight over him, and that's when he starts playing a little bit of psychological warfare. So there's a maneuver I have to look up real quick.
Okay.
But it is, I think, the taunt, because he's a ragabash. Okay, can he do that? Manipulation plus expression. Nah, he's not gonna. I thought it was charisma. Uh,
Charisma would have been great because we get that
yeah,
bonus
yeah.
too.
By the way, taunt is virtually worthless against him because the difficulty for taunt is the opponent's wits plus 4.
Okay. Also, like Darcy is not going to use a gift because he just does not feel like that's right, especially since they're sparring. If you like, he has one gift he could use, but he will not. He will not use that whatsoever.
As you miss again and Zhongli comes back up, um, he says something. He does make a slight taunt on Darcy. Um, Instead of attacking. Really, that's the best you can do in Hamid? I guess you're going to have to go into Krenos if you're going to land a single blow.
He grins, see, like with him like making taunting him, but he doesn't shift. He doesn't let his words get to him
Let's
because he
find out. What's your wits plus 4 difficulty with my massive dice
wits.
pool?
Okay. It's wits and what else?
Wits plus 4. It is my difficulty. So
Okay, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Dip 7.
div 7. Wow, that's actually a lower wits than he thought you had.
I debated on building it up to 4, but
Okay. He is going to try to do this. Fail. Okay. Yes, it doesn't get to you. All right, back on Darcy.
Darcy will swing again. He's not aiming anywhere generally, just like somewhere in his torso area where it's easier to hit. Three successes. Dang it. You have
Zhongli Zhongli will once again knock it aside um, with the outside of his hand as if slapping away a child. 3 successes, and after doing so, Zhongli is he's gotten a pretty good assessment at this point, so he's going to now after knocking it aside, he's going to throw a punch at him, just a standard I'm sorry, a standard jab with his left hand.
Darcy is not avoiding.
All right.
And with him swinging at him, he swings at him as well.
You can't. You've already made your attack. You get a
I
free
thought.
defensive roll, but you
Oh, free defensive roll.
in Scepter the Howling Winds. So
Okay.
on your next action, you can hold it to force a punch and punch at the same time.
Okay, that's what I'm going to do the next
Okay,
action. But I'll do the dodge this time then.
sounds good.
7. Come on, load.
No, don't do this to us. Don't do this to us. I had this happen. Okay.
Okay,
All right.
that is. Oh. Okay, 5 successes. He easily dodges that.
Yep.
I'm gonna say he does like a backflip backwards because he has that high athletics. And then he'll say, "What, you were trying to hit me? Come on."
Zhongli quirks a brow. I haven't been trying to hit you this entire time.
Well, then try.
All right. Zhongli will watch. I assume you're holding your action for that double blow.
Yes.
Um, let's see here. Called shot.
Okay.
Left lung.
Okay.
And since we both have initiative, we're going at the same time. You can roll whenever. He is stabbing you.
That's fine. 4 successes.
All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 successes.
So he lets him stab him and punches him straight in the chest. He howls out in pain, but he punctured his lung, didn't he?
Mm-hmm.
So he recoils back and he shifts to Glabro because he has to heal.
Yes,
He's like, I hit you.
you did.
He takes a deep breath because getting stabbed is.
You made a critical error, though.
He nods.
It was only one.
Could you tell me it? I think I know what it is, but I want to hear from you.
He lets out a deep breath. You didn't do that sooner.
He nods. I was too worried about getting hit that I, ke- I kept avoiding your punches and kicks. We both weren't doing anything. He shrugs. I guess it finally clicked.
Zhongli shakes his head. That's the thing, though. I was doing something. He points at the ground.
Darcy looks down.
Well, Zhongli was every time Darcy was throwing an attack at him, Zhongli was taking steps closer to him, and Darcy was constantly backing up.
He notices this and quirks an eyebrow. Then he looks behind him to see like where he was at, and
Zhongli was walking him closer and closer to the tree line.
he nods. I still have a lot to learn.
Positioning. You're far better at hand-to-hand combat than you were before. You've come a long way.
Thank you. I'll keep trying. Well, not trying. I will get better. But
I have no doubt. You've already learned from this engagement. If you know your opponent is skilled and is not landing a single blow on you, there might be a reason why he's continuing to approach you rather than trying to put distance between you.
he nods. Strategy. It's always in the back of your mind, isn't it?
He nods his head.
That's good.
Both of us have tricks that we could bring to bear. Both of us are fairly skilled.
I feel like you're very cool-headed in combat, but that's because of your experience. You've seen it much more than I have.
Hence why I believe training exercises are so valuable. Your strength, he says, pointing at Darcy's right arm, much improved.
I've been exercising a lot, and then I suppose Lion surprised me. I didn't expect such a sudden boost of strength. It was very awkward at first. I assume you felt the same.
Not really. I have been. He starts walking and motions for Darcy to follow.
He follows them.
I have been working on it every day of my life. gyms, flow arts, hand-to-hand combat. My physical body is my temple to Gaia. And like any other good temple, I keep it in the best possible shape and appearance I can.
He nods. You know, before I even knew I was a guru, I hated all kinds of sports. Just wanted to read. He rubs his brows. It's funny.
We're not meant to be. He thinks about his next words carefully. We're not meant to be individual hunters.
We work in a pack.
Yes.
We all, we all have different strengths to bring to the table. As a Philodox, I really need to. No, not just as a Philodox. As an Alpha, too, I need to learn how to use everyone's strengths.
I notice you're fairly good with that bow.
He nods.
You probably fight with it as well as I fight with my knife.
It's like an extension to my body.
Is it now?
He nods. He touches the wood. The wood is. It's a little bit of an older bow, because you can tell it's been used a lot. I may need to get a new one at some point, or have it have it repaired. It's getting very worn.
I can tell. Though worn items can be some of the greatest. You're experienced with them, you're familiar. All they require is a little bit of upkeep and maintenance.
He nods.
So how do you plan on getting that bow into the city?
That was one thing that always crosses my mind, actually. I can use a firearm, but I can never use my bow. I've debated on seeing if I can turn it into a fetish that I can store and use whenever I need to.
A fetish
He nods.
potential. But even then, pretty obvious, yes?
Yes, it is.
Not easy to conceal while fighting.
The only thing a bow is really good for is silence and being in the wilderness. But even then, a gun and its silencer could prove way more useful.
Silencers don't actually make things quiet. You know that, right?
true. I suppose that's the only thing that really makes a bow the most useful. But even still, when you pull back the string and you let it go, there's still a noise. It's not completely silent.
He nods his head again.
The instant you fire, they know where you are.
Very true. And you do very well for yourself avoiding hits.
Still, you can only avoid so much until you're backed up into a corner, as I was
Potentially.
today.
You should carry a surprise on yourself, I think, then. If that's something you're concerned about, is getting backed into a corner.
He nods.
He gives a shrug of his shoulders. Not sure what type of surprise would be best for you, but I'm sure you can come up with something.
I've observed everybody and their talents. Veronica always using lightning. It's surprising. I would assume she would want to be a lot more quiet about things. She likes something so loud and flashy.
She likes to take people by surprise. Nothing more surprising than a living flashbang, I guess.
He nods. Adelheid, he is very straightforward with his combat. I think he's changed that a little bit though recently. From what I understand, he's the type to draw attention to himself. So
That he
others
is.
so others can sneak around. You're very good at hiding in the shadows, striking when people are not looking.
But our pack. None of us are meant to be fighting up there on the front lines.
He nods. Our entire pack is filled with those who want to sneak.
Indeed.
I I hide with my bow. You strike with your knife. My husband, he is a cat.
Ambush hunters.
He nods.
Eventually, though, we're going to be forced to stand our ground.
I feel
How do
like
you
Lion.
propose?
Oh, I feel like Lion would even agree. We should probably stand our ground once in a while.
So, how do you propose we do that?
What I want you to do, then, he looks over at Zhongli, help us devise pack tactics. Ways that we can fight head on, but strategize. That seems to be your skill set. And we can easily fight with the speed of thought, relaying orders back and forth. It's a lot harder following Lion dealing with pack tactics, but it doesn't mean that we can't do it.
Well, the vast majority of us are Hamid, if I'm not mistaken.
He nods.
I think there's something we can do with that.
I'd like to hear your words, my beta. He smiles.
It's simple. Anger your opposition.
He nods.
In the case of fighting other guru, a frenzied opponent is a unthinking one.
I know one way to easily make an opponent very angry. It's not a gift I wish to use around many, but I know a Black Fury gift.
Well then, I guess we're in a good position. We have a tactic that should work. And then otherwise, I suggest that we learn how to wishbone an opponent.
He nods. Break apart their defense.
Exactly. As a team, we're stronger than we are individually, from what I said before. But that's not why I agreed to speak with you today.
What did you wish to speak about? I just wish to talk over our pack and what we wish for the future. But you seem to have something else on your mind.
Because the future currently is in flux. I'm more concerned with the
Now,
present for once.
he nods.
You've switched tribes.
I have. If I didn't, I probably would have been sent away from our set, or
What are you doing?
currently
Yes.
training, trying to figure out, the knowledges I need to be a good leader. Adelheid even mentioned that many will look to me for the formation of the wardens because Johann is. I am the alpha of Johann. So I've been thinking of that too.
Mhm. I'm glad you realized it.
I don't know where to begin with that, but I've been mulling it over in my mind. I suppose the first thing I really need to do is talk with the spirit Hayden, that the warden. Johann says he will speak with him and talk with him over things, but I don't see Johann as his prophet. Johann has mentioned that he has a child with that spirit.
What are you going to do for the tribe?
I suppose my biggest thing that I need to do is solidify the camp that my family is under.
What good is solidifying a camp when there's no solid tribe?
Then I suppose I really need to solidify the tribe.
If that's what you're planning on doing. You're going to have to find a way to earn them some more legitimacy.
I have a thought. My fathers, one is a elder warden of the lost, and the other is a Adrian warden of the lost. Perhaps they could form a pack with the warden as their totem. It would have an elder, which is a very high standing individual, to increase his strength.
That's a very half moon idea of you. Could work.
Still, many would have to begin to increase his power.
So what are you going to do?
He thinks for a moment.
That's something to think on for the future. For now, keep it to the back of your mind. Come up with a solution. You've thought of what you can convince others to do, which is half the battle. Every tribe has stories about the gifts that they were able to negotiate with the spirits. especially my tribe.
Your tribe negotiated with quite a few interesting spirits, didn't they?
So now you're officially a warden. How much do you know about every tribe?
Only the basics.
Not
And
even the basics, he says, shaking his head. That one was a rhetorical question. I guarantee you don't know the basics of any tribe. I don't know the basics of almost any tribe. Who writes our lore, our history, our traditions? Another trick question. No one does. We're an oral tradition. He says, whoa. He says,
no
chuckling.
one, but many.
So how much do you know about the tribes? Probably as much as I do.
He nods.
Well,
I
let me
suppose I
fix
need to
that.
start learning.
Exactly. Wardens of the Lost. How do you know if they're lost if you don't know whether or not they've already been found?
How are we to find who is truly a member of the Wardens of the Lost if I don't know the other tribes and if they would fit among their ranks? He nods.
How much of the history and the stories of the Black Spiral Dancers have you been taught?
Little to nothing of yet.
Well
I've been
then,
talking with my father over this.
it would seem that until you can find a gibbous moon to assist you in this operation, it might behoove you to have a better understanding of the entrance requirements for the rest of us. So again, I offer you something.
Knowledge of your
Consider,
tribe?
well, I've already taught you some knowledge of my tribe, he says with a smirk. Consider what I teach you next for free. Let me tell you about the history of my people. And in doing so, I give you something available for trade that you can use to begin future negotiations of your own.
He listens intently.
And Zhong Li will begin. The real reason he wanted to talk with Darcy is to impart upon him a small cache of not secrets, but enough to get him some understanding. He'll teach him up to lore 1 glasswalkers.
Okay. He furrows his brows and then he nods.
Um, and I think that's a good ending point for the scene, actually.
Thank you, players, for playing. Thank you, watchers, for watching. Darcy learned a little bit about glasswalkers today. Good day and bye.